Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, June the 15th, 2015. Of course, the aftermath of Money in the Bank in Cleveland, Ohio at the Quicken Loans Arena, the Q. I was in Cleveland, but not for a while. I was there for, of course, NXT, the house show. Check out my review on this channel. But as we had told you, the aftermath of Money in the Bank, it was a decent one tonight, including a great match involving and a beatdown sending a message to a certain person. Plus, but tonight, of course, we had one match set for Battleground already. Now we have two. That includes the return of a certain anime that is in the subtitle. The Beast is back. Let's get down to business. Get on down from the beginning of the show. Decent one tonight. Like I said, there was like decent action and, of course, a big comeback, as many people have been speculated for a couple of hours. Start off with the man who's in celebratory mood, Seth Rollins, who, for the first time as champion, he won a pay-per-view main event with no help from the authority. No silly endings, no bullshit endings, just a clean finish. It's all going for the belt, but he had full possession. That's the only screwness about, but it wasn't as screwy as like Ken interfering or JJ Security interfering. So he was in celebratory mode. Happy, and I like this promo tonight. Probably his best promo as champion. And he's like, I want to thank people. He had a list, and he was thanking himself. I think, and we've been seeing this for the last couple of weeks, I think officially Steph's straying away from the authority. You know what? It's a good move for him. In my mind, it's been about a year since he turned on the Shield, you know. He's had some decent success as a superstar since aligning himself with the authority. But in my mind, I think Seth was just using the authority. He was jumping ship from the Shield to the authority because he knew the authority had the power to use. He was using the authority's power to get to the top. You know, he used Kane to get to the top of the ladder for Money in the Bank. You know, and now that he's a champion, he doesn't need the authority anymore. In my mind, he needs to cement his legacy because right now, his legacy's some kind of with asterisks for his most recent victories, interference in the authority, shitty DQ. He needs to define his authority. He needs to define his legacy without the authority. He doesn't need the authority anymore. He used them to get to the top. Now that he's at the top, he's finally realizing he doesn't need him anymore. And he realizes to define his own legacy, he has to define his legacy and cement his legacy on his own. You know what I mean? He doesn't need the authority ruining matches. He doesn't need the authority's interference splattering and ruining matches. He needs to win matches on his own. And he did last night against Dean Ambrose in a great ladder match. And it was way better than the Elimination Chamber. I still think Hell in a Cell was better, even with Bray Wyatt's interference. And this was the first Rollins Ambrose match to actually have a clean ending. You know, Hell in a Cell had a screwy ending, Elimination Chamber had a screwy ending. There's the first big match that didn't involve a lumberjack to have a clean victory. So as Seth was bragging about winning the match, here comes Dean Ambrose, still fuming. And then an immediate brawl. And look at Ambrose was still, I think, like fully recovered from the knee thing. Because he limped to the ring, but he was limping later on. So, because Rollins targeted the knee again. But then, despite Ambrose trying to brawl and Rollins taking him out, Rollins ran out of the arena. Well, ran out of the ringside area, went back to the backstage area. And Ambrose had his own little sit-in. Stood on a chair. He was like, I'm going to hijack Raw. I'm not getting out of this ring until Ambrose sees Rollins, comes back to that ring. The authority saw Rollins, and they're like, we're going to choose your opponent later on for your next opponent for the next pay-per-view. You know we did it on your own, but you know what? You said you don't need us anymore. Like I said, he started alienating himself. I see where this is going. Like I said, Well, Rollins' character realizes he doesn't need the authority anymore. He got to the top with the authority. He used them. Now he needs to define his own legacy on his own. So as Rollins was in the back pondering about who's he going to face next and not having the authorities inside and not being incited about it like usual because he's being blacklisted out of it because I think his attitude's finally catching up to the authority and splitting up Rollins and authority, which is great. Sheamus came out as like a person to try to get Ambrose out of the ring and not hijack Raw anymore. That leads to our next match. After our first match. Sheamus against Dean Ambrose. Of course, Sheamus is now Mr. Money in the Bank, which is an interesting decision. At least it wasn't Reigns. Because it looked like, I said this a few weeks ago, it looked like they were building Reigns once again to be the winner of Money in the Bank. They were building him up, making him looking like the favorite again. Looking like they're going to make the same Royal Rumble mistake. As we know now, they didn't make that mistake. Thankfully, with Bray Wyatt interfering, who should have been in the match. Should be booked differently. Should be booked bad, you know. Talk about Bray Wyatt's booking. His booking is almost as bad as Ascension's. Anyway, Sheamus and Ambrose. Decent little matchup, but of course, Sheamus, like many others, targeted the knee big time. That was severely damaged at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view with Rollins nailing Ambrose in the kneecap with that steel chair as he was coming to him. He fought valiantly and had a great promo after the show, paying homage to Dusty Rhodes with a lot of tributes tonight. And they replayed the 10-bell salute from last night. They didn't have a 10-bell on Wall. Hey, they had a 10-bell salute every place else this weekend. Why couldn't they do a live 10-bell salute on Wall rather than just replay the 10-bell salute from last night? Have one live there in Cleveland. It's kind of a weird decision, but hey, at least they had a salute, taped or live, no matter what. So despite being targeted, the knee, getting his knee targeted, Ambrose did fight violently back. With some great moves, coming with some big moves, even trying to come back from the cloverleaf being put on him millions of times in the match by Sheamus. And then Randy Orton comes out to distract Sheamus after ducking a dirty deeds from Ambrose. Of course, Orton and Sheamus have had their issues. For the last couple of weeks, they brawled 2 matches with no clear ending. DQs both times because both guys used chairs. So as Orton was standing outside, Sheamus wanted a piece of him. But that brief glimpse of distraction caught Sheamus from behind as Ambrose capitalized with a big roll-up in the 1-2-3 victory for Dean Ambrose. Following the match, Orton and Sheamus started brawling. Orton took him out to the outside, delivered a Hangman's DDT, setting up for the RKO, but Sheamus went out of dodge. I think these two will have a match at Battleground. At least we have 5 weeks of booking. At least we don't have like 2 weeks between pay-per-views. Because as we all know, Money in the Bank was the last of the 3 pay-per-views in a 6-week span. With only 2 weeks in between. So now we have a proper build again. We can probably build matches for the pay-per-view. 5 weeks. See, I did it with more time to build instead of short time. Because I think Orton and Sheamus will have a match. I think it should be like a no DQ, no holds barred match. Because they wrestled on Raw twice and it ended in DQ with both guys using chairs on both occasions. The first match, Sheamus used the chair. The second time, Orton used the chair. So I needed a clear winner in this feud. On to our next matchup, R-Truth in a rematch from the pre-show against Benny's Barrett. Apparently, R-Truth thought he was going to be commentating. He was dressed in a suit. And he also was dressed in like a bed sheet, like kind of imitating King Barrett's outfit. He had like a paper crown and like a little bed sheet. He was like waving, and he was on comment. He's funny on commentating, and he's been kind of like the 4th guy on commentating as of late. Seen him a lot on comment. We've seen him more on commentary than on the ring. Seems like to me. So R-Truth thought he was commentating the game, but then they're like, "You're wrestling, Truth." And like I said, he was in a suit. He wasn't ready. So he got in the ring. Barrett brought him out of the ring. He was ready to get the quick finish. He was setting up a victory quickly, setting up the bullhammer elbow. But instead of Barrett getting the quick victory, it was R-Truth who got the quick victory. Quickly rolled up Barrett, blocking the Bullhammer and the 1-2-3 victory for R-Truth. But even in victory, Hammer was still delivered by Mr. Barrett following the match. It was kind of silly, but still. Now, after they had that little silliness, it wasn't really a match, it was like a segment. Because match only lasted like 10 seconds. Because Barrett was going in for the quick kill, but he got turned around and he got the quick loss from Truth. On to the next day involving Kevin Owens. Even in defeat, as I had feared, and I was right, sadly, that Cena would get the victory over Kevin Owens. In a great match, by the way. I thought the last match was better, but as the match went along, I was like, wow, this is better than the last match. I'll give Cena credit. I've said it takes 2 to tango. Both guys made each other look good. Like, every match Owens is in. And I saw him at the Cleveland show 2 days ago at NXT. He made Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Ciampa look good. And he also made his opponent tonight look good. And probably the best match of the night. Once again, Owens wins match of the night. It was match of the night at the NXT house show. Match of the night last night at the pay-per-view. Match of the night tonight on Raw. As he was bragging about taking out Cena. Because even if he lost, he still looked like a badass because Cena may have won the battle. Owens is winning the war. He took out Cena with a vicious powerbomb on the apron. So if Cena out tonight, selling his injuries, I think Owens lived up to a promise he said during the house show. We were all in the NXT house show. We were all chanting, John Cena sucks, singing that. And Owens is like, after Sunday, you won't see him anymore. Well, I think he was right because he took out Cena with that powerbomb on the apron last night. So if Cena gone and no open challenge for the U.S. title, Owens issued his own open challenge for the NXT title. And by the way, he wants a rematch because we have one match to do. Cena, Owens, both owe a victory over each other. And I think Owens now finally wants to compete for a title, which means Cena will probably win, sadly. You know what I mean? Because he won't let Cena lose twice in a row. Lose at all, U.S. title. But just to see Owens in that image, I've said it a few weeks ago when Owens debuted. To see Owens with both those titles would be cool, even though he probably had the forfeit the NXT Championship. But you know what will happen? Battleground is July 19th. A few weeks before, he is set to defend the NXT title against Finn Balor in Japan. Here's what I'm thinking. He'll lose to Finn in Japan. Then he'll beat Cena for the U.S. Championship. That's what I think will probably happen. He'll lose to Finn in Japan. The NXT, if he loses to Finn in Japan, it seals the deal that Owens is going to be U.S. champion because he's on the main roster now. So it's probably going to slowly transition him out of NXT and full-time main roster guy. And he looked amazing. He's been looking amazing in all of his matches, including tonight, the open challenge. Not for the title, though. It's not a title. Dolph Ziggler. What a match this was. To see Owens wrestle 3 days ago in Cleveland, they wrestled last night, and they wrestled tonight with the same intensity, the same animosity, the same vigor, and still put on an excellent match after wrestling so many days in a row. It's a testament to his athleticism. And I'm a big Ziggler fan. And both guys put on a good match. That's the sign of a good wrestler. Is when you put not just yourself over, but you make the other guy look good too. And Ziggler looked awesome. So did Owens. It was a really good back and forth match. There was some great moments in this fight. Some great tornado DDTs from Dolph. And some nasty super kicks. And it was just back and forth action between these two guys. Owens once again had the best match of the night again. That's how good Owens is. For displaying Ziggy's best effort to learn a famous sir and trying for a zigzag, it was the pop-up powerbomb that sealed his fate in the 1-2-3 victory for Kevin Owens. Beating Dolph Ziggler. He needed to win when it comes to a storyline background and make his momentum still go up despite losing to Cena last night. And since Cena wasn't around, he decided to send another message to Cena to one of his many supporters, vocal supporters, Machine Gun Kelly, who performed tonight. Now, Wiz Khalifa, I didn't mind. I kind of said that music and wrestling don't mix anymore, in the Attitude Era, because there's so many diverse audiences. I'd rather see Wiz Khalifa because at least you've heard of Wiz Khalifa, and he's on the radio. He's got the #1 song in America. MGK is not as well known. But I kind of like the message of the song. You know, need a little bit more love. I do like the message of the song he did. But then as he was celebrating the end of the song in Cleveland, here comes Kevin Owens applauding, and he was going for like handshake. MJK said something and shoved Owens aside. Bang! Owens snapped, powerbombed his ass off the stage. That will send a message to Cena because, like I said, MGK is one of Cena's many supporters. He's a good friend of Cena's. So for MGK, a guest of Raw tonight to take that spot, not only let someone hurt him, you know, a wrestler, do a spot on him, especially a spot off the stage. That's balls to MGK. I applaud MGK for taking that spot. And I think it was like almost one-handed from Owens. So that was a fun spot. Even in defeat, I even said it's for the Elimination Chamber match. I thought he was going to lose that match. Win or lose, Owens would still look like a badass. He would still look good in that match. He did look good last night despite losing. He was the last one standing, like he was tonight, taking out both Dolph and, more importantly, MGK, which kind of will make Cena angry storyline-wise and give Owens the rematch for the U.S. title. So that's my prediction. That Owens will win the U.S. Championship. He'll lose NXT title to Finn in Japan, and he'll win the U.S. Championship against Cena Battleground. Hey, I predicted Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank, so. And Mania. So, I may be right on this one, too. I'm good with the predictions sometimes. Now, on to our next scenario following seeing Owens destroy Dolph Ziggler. We had Randy Orton against Kane. Two guys that were in the Money in the Bank ladder match last night. Decent one. I just wish they had a better spot for Neville. I wish Neville did like a high spot of the ladder, but he never did. So it was an okay little match between Orton and Kane. And as Orton was delivering some big moves. Going for a quick DDT. Then all of a sudden, Sheamus was trying to distract Orton like Orton did to him early in the evening. But Kane, being the director of operations and all, decided to make this a no-holds-barred match, which immediately made Sheamus' involvement perfectly freaking legal. So Sheamus came in, delivered a quick bro kick to Orton, and Kane make the quick pin in the ring, with Orton losing to interference from Sheamus. Like, Sheamus lost thanks to Orton's interference. I think these two, like I said in the beginning, there would be a match at Battleground between these two guys. This time with some sort of step, like no holds barred or something. Now on to our next match. Miz against Big Show. We saw that silly screwiness of the IC Championship match with Miz getting involved, hitting Big Show, causing DQ. And now we had Ryback at ringside commentating this match with Miz and Big Show. It's okay match. You know, Big Show was trying to chop Miz around, throw him around like a rag down and stuff. And then he went to the outside, shoved Miz in Ryback's face, and then they had a stare down. But Big Show, in the midst of staring down Ryback, even though the match was still going on, Ryback got back in the ring. Actually, not Ryback. Miz got back in the ring, won by count out. You know, a win's a win to Miz, especially when it's in your home city of Cleveland. So he won, beating Big Show by count out with that screwiness. Another match at Battleground. We will finally have the triple threat. You know, I thought there'd be a triple threat at Money in the Bank, but I think there will be a triple threat at Battleground for sure for the IC Championship. Now, so we have our next scenario. Roman Reigns wanted a piece of Bray Wyatt. We saw Bray Wyatt interfere in the Money in the Bank ladder match, taking out Roman Reigns, because we thought it was going to be the predictable Roman Reigns wins ending. But thankfully, they didn't go with that. So, applaud WWE for not making the Royal Rumble mistake again. I said it before. Roman Reigns will be champion one day, but he's not ready yet. You know, yes, the crowd was cheering him last year and kind of booed him this year. You know, it's kind of like a quick turnaround. Then he became the Batista of last year. You know, when 1 year ago he was cheered against Batista in the Rumble, then this year he's the predictable scapegoat. You know. So Reigns was very pissed at Bray. They will face off at Battleground, but he wanted him tonight. So Bray came on the screen and told him why he kind of did it. Let's rewind back. A few weeks ago, when I thought they were building up Roman again, he ran the gauntlet. 3 weeks ago. I was like, uh-oh, here we go again. They're building him up to be the favorite because he's winning the gauntlet tonight. He beat Bad News Barrett. He beat Mark Henry and Bray Wyatt in the last match. And Bray Wyatt, if he would have won, he would have been in my debate. And he should have been in the match instead of interfering. But it's kind of interesting to see him interfere because it makes a feud out of him and Roman Reigns. So it's like, you screwed me out of my chance to be in the match when I fought you a few weeks ago. Well, another great promo. And it had a weird, creepy ending. And a good one. Makes it a lot more personal. It's Father's Day this Sunday. Happy early Father's Day to all the fathers out there, including my dad, my Wody. We saw a commercial. I've seen this commercial various times of Roman Reigns singing my I'm a little teapot with his daughter. That's his real daughter in the commercial. And they showed the commercial early, and then later on the night, Bray Wyatt creepily sung I'm a little teapot with that picture. A screenshot from that ad with Woman and his daughter. That's made it a lot more creepy, makes it more intense feud. I'm taking it to the personal route. TNA takes stuff too personal by my TNA, watching TNA shows. Everyone's mean. Everyone's dark. Everyone's angry all the time. Even the good guys are hard asses. Because I saw Kurt Angle said at EC3, I'm going to break your freaking ankle. Bray Wyatt, he's not like the Roman Reigns, I'm going to hunt your children. He's not like that. He talks slowly and maniacally in Brody. And that's why I love him. Should be booked better, like I mentioned. But I think this feud could do well. Even though Reigns would probably win the match against Mr. Wyatt. I hope he takes advantage and they finally book him better after a great showing against Roman and a loss I'm predicting. On to the next scenario. Speaking of recovering from a loss and getting kind of screwed out of the match last night with a silly ending, Paige in a 2-on-1 handicap match against the Bellatrix, trying to stand up to the Bellatrix, wanting someone to help. And since she's kind of left the Divas high and dry in various tag team affairs, not being a good ally, they didn't want to participate. So, despite Paige's best efforts, she had great opportunities trying to outrun the numbers. But the twin magic didn't happen, like the switcheroo didn't happen, but the twin numbers caught up to Paige. She suffered a big moves from Nikki and Brie, especially from Nikki, the fist and of course the rack attack, despite best efforts from Paige trying to fight off the numbers game. 1-2-3 victory, once again losing to the Bellatrix. Either one of the divas from the back is going to step up, or we're going to finally see a diva from NXT debut into the main roster. I hope it's Charlotte. So, and she looked good against Sasha in the match on Friday that I saw in Cleveland. So I keep mentioning, but I'm too excited about that. So then on to MGK was next. I explained what happened with him and Kevin Owens. And on to our next scenario, next match. The New Day, all 3 members, including a battered up, taped up Kofi Kingston after getting powerbombed on a ladder twice by Roman Reigns. One solo and one on top of Neville, who was teaming up with the new tag champs. New tag champs, primetime players. I was very surprised they won, but I'm happy they won. I think, if I'm correct, New Day only held the title for 2 months. Hey, I think Tyson Kidd has always held the title for 2 months, then lost. So, there you go. Anyway, decent 6-man tag. New Day try to have their numbers in their favor. Some great triple teams. Isolating Darren Young in the corner. Until also you got the hot tag in. Got some big moves. But as New Day was trying to attack, both part-time players took him out, setting up Neville to get the hot tag in, get the red arrow in. He started flying a little bit during the match, ending up with, like I said, the red arrow and the 1-2-3 victory for Neville and the new tag champs. New tag champs. Prime-time players. Prime-time players. I'm happy they're finally realizing the mistake that I said this, that they messed up with primetime players when they were around last time before they broke up. They should have been champions at least once. Now that they're back together, they're finally taking advantage of this. They're finally letting them be tag champs. If they can bring primetime players back together and finally let them be tag team champions, maybe there can be other teams that had broken up and could reunite and finally be tag champions like they should have been first time round. Rhodes Scholars, please turn Cody back to normal and turn Damian Sandow back to normal. Make them be Rhodes Scholars again. Please! Let them be tag champs, man. They broke up and they should have been tag champs first time round. And like I said, if they can bring back primetime players and finally let them be tag champs like it should have been the first time round, they can bring back Road Scholars and let them be tag champs like they should have been first time round as well. So then on to the main event segment involving Seth Rollins hearing the decision of Triple H and Stephanie when it concerns his next opponent. So Triple H said it's not Ambrose. I thought it would be Ambrose, but I think we kind of knew who it kind of was because it kind of leaked. Brock Lesnar returned tonight. As we all know, his character's been suspended after his Beast Mode rampage at the War of Mania after not even getting pinned. He wasn't even pinned when Rollins cashed in at Mania. He pinned Reigns. They were going to have a rematch night after. But then Rollins ran out, and then that's when Brock went crazy. F5, Michael Cole. I thought Cole was going to sue Lesnar, but that didn't go anywhere. That storyline never went any farther than that. Besides Michael Cole threatening to sue, but it never happened. And that's when Baron Saxton replaced him. He was horrible that night. But Baron's been on Raw the last couple of weeks. He's sounded better. Because he has Michael Cole backing him up this time. That's why I think he's done better than when without Michael Cole at Raw of Mania when he took over when Cole was taken out and so was Booker T and JBL. And Booker T is doing tough enough. So that's why Saxton's around. Token black guy on commentary. Anyway. So Lesnar's been suspended for months, and we had Oakley was going to come back soon. It was kind of linked he was going to be coming back in July, in time for Battleground, but he came back tonight, and I thought he was going to come back in a few weeks, but not tonight. But the news started flying about Lesnar being in Cleveland, and it was true. Lesnar was in Cleveland tonight, and he stared down Rollins, and Rollins went out. So we have a main event for Battleground. I think it's a decent decision to have Lesnar against Rollins at Battleground instead of SummerSlam, as many people, including myself, were kind of expecting. Because I think they're aiming bigger for SummerSlam. Bigger as in Triple H against Rollins. So I said earlier, that Rollins is isolating himself from the Authority, he's alienating himself, and he's finally trying to split himself from the Authority and to find his own legacy without their help. He used them, now he's on his own. He wants to be on his own, and it shows. And I think using the pedigree as his finishing now will piss off Triple H now that Rollins may no longer be a part of the Authority, and that may make Triple H want to fight Rollins and his cocky attitude. So that's what we're probably aiming towards. Rollins, Triple H at SummerSlam. So they're aiming higher than Lesnar. I think Rollins and Lesnar at SummerSlam could be good. It could have been good to have it there, but having them on a B-list pay-per-view may seem silly. But it's the pay-per-view before SummerSlam that makes it a whole lot better to have them at Battleground. And hype up that pay-per-view that needs a hype. Because the possible Triple H Rollins feud at SummerSlam could be a whole lot bigger than Rollins and Lesnar. Just the billing power in Triple H Rollins at Mania. I mean, at SummerSlam. Knowing it's in Jersey. So there you go. So we have a couple matches, 2 matches set for Battleground. A couple that may be official next couple weeks, because we have 5 weeks before the pay-per-view. Lesnar Rollins official. The rematch is on at Battleground. Officially. We have Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns. And the matches that may be official soon. Cena Owens again. This time, possibly for the U.S. Championship. Because like I said, I think Owens will lose the NXT Championship in Japan on the 4th in Japan against Finn Balor. Then he'll win the U.S. Championship against Cena. That's what I'm thinking. Also predicting Sheamus and Orton in like a no-holds-barred match. And finally a triple threat, Big Show, Miz, and Ryback. And probably more matches to be maybe like Paige and Bella's. Maybe an tag match with Charlotte if Charlotte debuts soon. Or whoever wants to step up with Paige and the Divas. Stand up against the Bellas. We'll see how that goes. As we head towards Battleground now. At least we have 5 weeks of booking possibilities. 5 years of buzz and 5 weeks of build up instead of 2 weeks, like the last couple of pay-per-views. So we'll see how they do it. 5 weeks of build up instead of 2 weeks. And that is it for my wall review for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. See you later, everybody.